to 12 report with Blessings Mosugu, and these are the headlines. Chaos erupts, tear gas fired at Wadata Plaza venue of parallel PDP meetings. New data shows 12-year surge in kidnappings, northwest and north central worst affected. Hundreds of families in Kenya displaced as Lake Naivasha overflows due to heavy rains. And as usual, we have our reporters stationed in different parts of the country. Sumayya Abubakar and Sagir Ibrahim joins from Abuja, while Omolola Ololade joins from Lagos. We've got the details in a moment. Let's start off now in Abuja, where chaos engulfed the PDP National Secretariat, Wadata Plaza, Abuja, on Tuesday, as rival factions loyal to Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde and FCT Minister Nyesom Wike held parallel NEC meetings. Tensions escalated further when Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed arrived, with irate protesters accusing him of being bribed to destabilize the party. Tear gas canisters were fired in an attempt to disperse demonstrators. The showdown follows Saturday's controversial Ibadan convention, which produced a new national working committee and expelled several Wike loyalists, a decision rejected by the Wike faction. Supporters of both camps remain on edge, deepening fears of a protracted party crisis. And now our correspondent, Sagir Ibrahim, joins me live from the venue to give us an update. Sagir Ibrahim, what's happening there exactly? What is the cause of the chaos and the shutdown in Wadata Plaza?
Well, good afternoon, Blessings. Just a few moments ago, we saw Governor Bala Mohammed and Seyi Makinde take their leave. But then again, I'm here standing with one of the chieftains of the People's Democratic Party, Dumebi Ifeanyichukwu. He stands here to give more details as to what happened. Good afternoon, Dumebi.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Very well. Just a few moments ago, we saw the fracas, permit me to call it that happened here. Tear gas canisters flying all around the place, one not knowing whether they were governors in or outside of the frame of whatever it is that happened. Can you just bring us up to speed with the reasons why we're seeing things happen the way that they happened?
My dear brother, it's unfortunate that two governors in a beautiful country like Nigeria are engaging in thuggery and brigandage. How can you, as a governor of a state, I'm talking of Bala Mohammed and Seyi Makinde, come to the party secretariat with thugs, attacking people, beating people, violating court order? Look, you can see another activity about to break out. Another activity about to break out right now. Another activity about to break out now, as you can see. Look here. Later, they will blame the Minister of the FCT, Ezebu 1 year from Wike, and Senator Samuel Ayanwu of being the ones behind the crisis in the party. It is a shame, and I put it out here. If anybody loses their life in this place, Seyi Makinde and Bala Mohammed should be held responsible. These people are violating court order. We have two court orders restraining them, restraining the PDP from holding any convention. Bala Mohammed, Seyi Makinde went ahead to hold their get-together in Ibadan. It is so disappointing that even at the so-called venue of the get-together, the chairman of the convention, His Excellency Amadu Fintiri, Governor of Adamawa State, who was head of the convention, openly came out to say that INEC is absent, so there is no convention, and for that reason, he's not part of it. Same thing, 4 governors have come out to say that are not part of it.
So what's the resolution right now? We understand that
the resolution is very, very simple. Obey the constitution of the Nigerian Republic. Obey the rule of law. The law is not behind Sheyi Makinde and Bala Mohammed. The law is behind Senator Samuel, the valid national secretary of the party, and Ezebuwo Nyesom Wike, the minister of the FCT, and the authentic leader of the party. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Maybe Fine Chuku. Well, there you have it. That's the update from here. Blessings, we have to do well to leave these premises because a tear gas just popped off some moments ago. My cameraman is trying to cover our nose right now, and I'm also trying to do the same, but then that's been the update. We now try to look for somewhere to seek shelter while we continue to report from a distance. It's back to you, Blessings. Thank you.
Much. Please do well to stay safe, Sagir Ibrahim. As you've seen, there's quite a bit of chaos there, and we're hoping that our team is safe. Definitely will bring you more updates as that unfolds. Sumaya Abubakar, if you can hear me, let's hear Sumaya and find out what's happening on her own end. Sumaya, what's the update from your end?
Okay, I will tell you that I am inside the event venue now. A few minutes ago, it was supposed to be the faction of, the Anyawu Samaya, that's the Nyesom Wike's faction, to hold their BOT here. Now, we were here, of course, waiting for it to start, to have other members of the BOT join. But then immediately it got invaded. Now, right now, the factions that you are seeing right here are the faction of the Bala Mohammed, and Sheyi Makinde's faction here. Now, they came and pushed out, the other factions. I literally saw them walk out the former governor of Benue State, Samuel Autumn, out of this, and it was really looking really bad. But based on what we have seen so far, it's been really crazy. The other faction came in, talking about Bala Mohammed, the ones that hold the convention in Ibadan. They came into the premises and came with their own police. And according to them, they say that the Sam Anyawu's faction brought thugs. That is, of course, allegedly. But then they came in, invaded the space with tear gas, and they went in. Now, they were able to have a conference with the media where the newly elected, talking about the chairman of the PDP, which is Turaki Kabiru, addressed the media. And he said that what they are seeing here is an invasion of democracy, in his own word. And he said that they are going to die if it means them getting back the People's Democratic Party. So right now it is really confusing. Of course, I'm the one controlling my camera because my cameraman is over there, addressing or listening to Bala Mohammed's faction talk again about this. So this is the current situation. Each time, of course, for us, we have to move away when it gets chaotic. It was a bit peaceful for a second, but now it's back to chaos. And we are waiting to hear from the Nyesom Wike's faction. Now, this is what has been going on currently. Blessing.
The cameraman trying to stay safe. It's quite unsettling there, even in Sagir Ibrahim's location. But definitely we'll come back to see what's happening in those areas. To talk about these party rivalry, we will now be joined by political analyst Catch Ononuju to help us make sense of the development. Catch, thank you so much for joining us. What exactly is going on with this political rivalry? How did we get here?
Very much for having me. I would say we got here because the PDP made the mistake of not respecting zoning. And now they have finally started the process of trying to take back the party. And of course, you've seen Mr. Nyesom Wike insisting that he doesn't want the party, according to him, that the only way he will want peace is the party should not field any candidate to challenge President Tinubu for the 2027 election. And that's why he doesn't want the party to go on with convention or anything. But of course, that is totally wrong in a democracy. You need to allow the party to move on. And you can go on to work for who you've chosen. In this case, he's chosen, according to him, to work for the re-election of President Tinubu. That is fine. But let the PDP be. And the PDP have been for a very long time very touchy about picking the crisis. So I think I will congratulate the PDP for having that courage to go to Ibadan, even if when they got to Ibadan, they were in full. Then as they now start fighting, we will know who is with the PDP that should survive And who are the ones with the PDP, with Wiki, who are insisting that the PDP does not file a candidate to challenge President Tinubu? This is the basic cause of this crisis. Minister Wiki say he doesn't want the PDP to file a candidate for the presidential elections for 2027 to challenge President Tinubu, and the other people said no, the party has to move on. And of course, you can see what's going on right now. So I think the earlier this issue is settled, the better. It's not every day you will say, I will do a journey, I will move on, I will, no. Then because of that, you don't do nothing. Start now. So I believe the PDP is right now on course to resolve this crisis. The earlier this crisis is resolved, the better. There are no doubts about it. There is no way the democracy can survive if the PDP is not allowed to file a candidate to challenge President Tinubu for the 2027 election.
Thank you. We'll come back to you shortly. We want to go on a break now. We're still talking about the political rivalry, and earlier our correspondent spoke to the pro-Wike supporters. And when we come back from the break, we'd also want to hear from the supporters of Seyi Makinde to know, to get a balanced view of what exactly is happening between both factions. So we'll go on a short break. You're still live with us on the 12 Report. When we come back, more stories. Do stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us on the news. Now, we're still staying on the Obasanjo and Fayose feud, and today we are at the Wadata Mall. Our correspondents are scattered around to find out what exactly is going on between these parties and the origin of the feud. Now, earlier we spoke to Sagir Ibrahim, and he said that they needed to shield themselves because tear gas had just been thrown at them. Sagir Ibrahim, let me confirm first, are you safe? All right, so in that case, we would need to find out, because earlier before the break, we spoke to the pro-Wike people, but right now I'm sure that you have supporters of Makinde as well. So what exactly are they saying?
Okay, so at the moment, let's see. First of all, thank you so much for the concerns. We are safe. We are outside of the plaza, and of course, we are here with not supporters of Seyi Makinde, but we have supporters of Governor Bala Mohammed, ally of Seyi Makinde. This is the Bauchi Youth for a Better Future, and I'm with Abdul Hamid Zelani, and of course his crew, who came here in solidarity with the Bauchi State Governor. But then, Mr. Abdul Hamid, you saw what transpired. We saw the tear gas, and I'm sure some of your supporters were also tear gassed. Your governor was not allowed into the premises. What do you make of all of the activities that we've just witnessed here today?
Okay, Alhamdulillah. We witnessed the recent election for the National Convention, what was held in Ibadan last week. So it is something often. Everybody has seen it already. And people are not so people are already know it, and this is the people choice. We all know what People Democratic Party PDP brought to this country. So since the departure of the PDP, but we never have a president similar that we can compare it with our own candidate. So that's why we want to bounce back. We want to bounce back fully. And our opposition has saw the strong preparation. That's why they make them scared. And that's why they are trying to put something difficult so that we people will be secure of them. But we will not secure, we will not afraid of them, we will not afraid of any other political party. We are a citizen. We have the right to defend our party. We have the right to defend our incumbent governor, Senator Bala Mohammed Abdul Qadir Bauchi. So we know he did well and he's doing it well. So,
but then some would say that what's going on right now, as much as you would want to say the ruling party or whomever it is has a hand inside of it, the bottom line here is Governor Bala Mohammed and Sheyi Makinde were not allowed into the premises. What do you make of that for a Board of Trustees meeting and National Executive Committee meeting that they are supposed to attend but they were denied access? How do you react to that specifically?
So we all know that, like I told you, they try to bring something difficult so that they would divide our party. So, but God's not the best, and we will not allow them to go further. That's why we are here, and we all know that Governor Bala Mohammed and Sheyi Makinde are the strongest contender. Where people love them, we know what they did in their state. So that's why they are the only people which, if People Democratic Party consider them as a presidential candidate, so it will give the opposition party so much headache. That's why they try to neglect them, they try to stop them from, to discourage them about what they are trying to build in our nation.
So much. Abdul Hamid Zelani, Secretary National Bauchi Youth for Better Future, just gave his 2 cents on the developments that has so transpired here at the Wadata Plaza. We're expectant that we should find other supporters, particularly those of Governor Sheyi Makinde, who are here present. We have not seen them at the moment, but we definitely will be doing the rounds to ensure that we also capture their voices as well. For now, this is the much that we have in terms of updates, but we hope that subsequently we have much more. It's back to you. Blessings.
For that, Sakir Ibrahim. Let's go now to where Sumaya Abubakar is. I think that Sheyi Makinde is currently holding a press briefing.
All right, so right now we have
addressed. I do not intend to end any of the situation has remained when I address. So thank you very much.
Okay, sir. Now, right now we have Governor Bala Mohammed, the governor of Bauchi, here with us. Good afternoon. Apologies for that. Now, my name is Sumaya Abubakar. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we're live. So I want you to tell us your reaction based on what you have seen and witnessed, coming into the PDP's premises.
We are almost having a sit-in because we have a very unpalatable situation where some people, some imposters want to take over our secretariat after some long time of observance of rule of law, where the police came with the aid of the company of chase our previous NW, and we have finished our election and expel all those imposters. And so it is a day to notify the police that our NW have been there only to learn that the same people came and illegal. When did they? So that is the question of, so this is the darkest immunity, abuse of power and the rest. And when we think what they are even as governors, as senators, as members of parliament, and chairman, the legal senior advocate, our supporters were shot. You are in hospital. This is the price of democracy. We are calling on Nigerians to know that these people, those people like we say, given the political space to participate, they will scatter the democracy. They will destroy this. It was time for President Tinubu to know that he has lost too much madness rather than it is time for us to embark the role. We respect him, we like him, we are supportive of him, but he should allow the opposition to run. Not to put somebody and undertaker within our party to think that he will rule. Who is he? And if it is opposition, we learn opposition from President Tinubu. Most of my own capacity is 1% of Tinubu in terms of leading the opposition, who brought him to power. So God has a way of testing people when they ascend to power. I am not arrogant, but only from principle of all of us. We must live and let live. We must be able to create the political space that would allow Nigerians to exercise their universal sympathies, not to emasculate the opposition, not to emasculate the subnationals, not to, there is no budget in this country. There's nothing other than all this shenanigans.
So what do we expect from you? I don't know if you can
And here now, another chaos is happening here, but we have Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde joining us. Good afternoon, sir. From your own, you've been looking calm. What is your reaction to all of this?
It's impossible for democracy to take roots, solid roots in Nigeria, a multi-party Nigeria. Crisis for people of Nigeria, not a one-party state. That's what you're witnessing.
So at the end of the day, should we expect pushback from your own faction?
It's not an issue of pushback. This is just for us. Success is won by fight.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate you. Currently, of course, this is what is going on in this vicinity. There's a pushback again from the other factions, and as you can see. And right now, everyone is just trying to be secure. Tear gas has been sent over here again. Apologies, so I'm choking the little plants. Behind me, you can see there's that pushback coming up from the door there. But then this faction at stake, I have to mention and point out that the other faction, talking about Sam and Yahu's faction, was the one in the hall when they were voted and, asked out of the place. And it has been, taken over by the faction of Bala Mohammed, Seyi Makinde, and Taraiki. So already this is what is going on. According to them, some of their members talking about the Bala Mohammed faction have been shot and they're in the hospital. But the chaos in the PDP secretariat, it's not looking really good at all. There's a lot of battle and fight happening around. But then in terms of subsequent updates, of course, we would bring you up to speed. Back to you, Black.
I would like to ask at this moment that you please stay safe, find somewhere safe to stay, as we would definitely come back to you to find out what's happening. And hopefully we're really anticipating that the calm is restored as soon as possible. Thank you for the update. Quite an intense one there. Definitely, we will bring you up to speed on how this unfolds. We have our correspondents on different angles already covering this and giving us an update. But we still have Catch Ononuju, political analyst, who joined us before the break to give us more update on this rivalry that seems to be heated all of a sudden. Once again, Catch Ononuju, you have seen what our correspondents have reported on from the two different angles. What is your take on all of this? How do we come to a resolution at this point? We heard Seyi Makinde talk about the fact that it is a multi-party system that should be running, and it looks as if that they're trying to hoard leadership. What do you have to say in that regard?
I agree. It should be a multi-party system that should be running in our democracy. Wike's insistence that the party does not field a candidate against his preferred candidate being President Tinubu is wrong. I am not for that. I don't agree with that. I'm saying this because the party have tried to privately ask him, what do you want for peace to reign? He says, don't field a candidate against President Tinubu. And that is not proper. That doesn't work in a democracy. And that's why they have moved on now to go on that convention in Ibadan. They have come back. Let us jam this process. Don't run away from the crisis. Deal with it. Let Wike tell the world the reasons why he does not want the party to file a candidate against President Tinubu. I agree with Governor Makinde. The process should be a multi-party process. It shouldn't be a one-party state. That's totally wrong. On that issue, I fault and condemn Mr. Wike's insistence that the party does not file a candidate. So that's why I believe the crisis is okay. For me, it's no good, but then what do? You don't need to run away from crisis every time. In this case, deal with this crisis. I am 100% with the PDP in its attempt to reassert itself. If Wike wants President Tinubu, the right thing to do is to go work for Tinubu in the APC. Don't be in the APC with Tinubu and also insisting that in the PDP PDP, nobody should file a candidacy. That is wrong. That is not democracy. That does not work in a plural society like our own. So for me, though it looks very rough at the inception, I believe that the PDP shall resolve itself. You can see what has happened right now. As they started, Mr. Samanyamu and other people, they've all just run away and left the Wadapa Plaza because they are not supposed to be there. They should not be. The INEC has received the filings in which the party suspended Senator Anyanwu, and he should stay away until that suspension is over. Why force yourself on the party? Not on your own understanding, but on the say-so of Minister Wike. That is wrong. Mr. Wike is wrong. Our democracy should not be a single-party democracy.
All right, thank you so much, political analyst Catch Ononuju, for that. We have been dealing with and reporting on this political impasse, and we're hoping that there is a resolution soon. But thank you for lending your voice to this conversation. You're live with us on the news. We go on a short break, and when we come back, we've got more stories. Do stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. Now let's go to security matters. Nigeria's army has launched an intensive operation to rescue 25 schoolgirls abducted during Monday's deadly attack in Kebbi State. Chief of Army Staff Major General Waidi Shaibu arrived in the state with senior commanders and ordered troops under Operation Fansan Yanman to maintain non-stop operations until all the girls are rescued. Bandits had stormed the government girls' comprehensive senior secondary school in Maga, killing Vice Principal Hassan Makuku before whisking the students away. The Chief of Army Staff met with frontline troops, local vigilantes and hunters, urging close collaboration and intelligence-led missions. He vowed that every resource is being deployed to bring the children home safely. Now, a new breakdown of reported kidnap cases between May 2011 and June 2023 shows alarming levels of abductions across the country, with the northwest and north central zones bearing the heaviest burden. The figures place Kaduna State at the top with 3,594 reported victims, followed by Zamfara with 2,523, Niger with 2,433, Borno with 2,073, and Katsina with 2,017. Regionally, the northwest leads with 8,774 kidnappings, more than the combined total of the South. It is followed by the North Central with 3,998 and the Northeast with 2,849. Now, in the southern part of the country, the South-South recorded 1,706 victims, the Southwest 924, and the Southeast 703. Security analysts say the data underscores the scale of Nigeria's kidnapping crisis and the urgent need for coordinated national action. Now, residents of Kufai Amadu village in Takum local government area of Taraba State have taken to the street, blocking major roads to protest a series of deadly attacks allegedly carried out by armed herders. The villagers say they have suffered repeated assaults resulting in loss of lives and destruction of property, prompting heightened anger and desperation. Protesters are demanding immediate government intervention and stronger security presence to halt the violence. Community leaders warn that unless urgent steps are taken, the situation could escalate further, leaving residents vulnerable and deepening tensions in the area. Now, the Lagos zone of the Academic Staff Union of Universities has raised concern over what it calls the federal government's lack of genuine commitment to resolving long-standing issues affecting university lecturers. The union warns that another nationwide shutdown may be imminent. ASU had earlier issued a one-month ultimatum, which expires on 20th of November 2025, threatening an indefinite strike if the government fails to meet its demands. Zonal coordinator Professor Shola Nasir stated that this stated this during a press briefing at the Lagos State University of Education, Ijanikin, stressing that continued government inaction could result in the total closure of universities across the country. Right now, News Central's correspondent Omolola Ololade is joining us live from the venue of the press conference. Omolola, thank you for joining us. What key grievances would you say that ASUU has identified as still unaddressed? And are there any specific timelines or actions that have been highlighted so far?
Hello, Blessings. We're presently, just like you've said, we're presently at the Lagos State University of Education in Ijaniki. And you will agree with me that this is a follow-up to, many of ASUU branches, kind of have had their own zonal meeting addressing the press. And then this presently is for Lagos zone, comprising of, the University of Lagos, Federal College of Education, Ijaniki, Lagos State University of Education, Olabisi Onabanjo University, and then University of Agriculture and Agriculture, and a few others. And then one of the major, when the zonal coordinator was addressing the press, he did talk about some of their grievances and express their concerns. One of the major ones is he mentioned is about the renegotiation. That the federal government has refused to go ahead with the renegotiation, and he did clarify that 35%, although the federal government offered 35%, they said they're not buying it into 35%, and that is basically because they feel this is not a good improvement of what they are yearning for. And then he mentioned, he did talk about the Minister of Education not in tandem with some of their grievances, and that they're not on the same page, and that why they must go on strike because things have gotten worse, and most of their emphasizing on the fact that most of their best brains have left the system, and so that has impacted the education sector. And then he talks about he addressed the rumor, because we did ask about the check, the alleged check that ASUU collected, and he said no, that if ASUU collected any check, that ASUU, the way ASUU operates, the whole union or the entire system would have to be involved, and that's the way they operate. So I did that they have not collected any check from the federal government. Then he did mention something important, talking about the attitude of the federal government towards the renegotiation. He said that the association ASUU was supposed to meet with the federal government today in Abuja, and then unfortunately just late night yesterday the federal government is saying that they don't have members of their team in attendance. They don't have all of them mobilized for this. And then presently I have with me the zonal coordinator of he's going to be joining us. Please sir, you can come forward. He's going to be joining us, John, just to address some of these things. He's the zonal coordinator for the Lagos zone ASUU. His name is Professor Shola Nasir. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we just finished the meeting. What are your major grievances? And you just share some of the things that you told us, especially about the ASUU, focusing on the check that you talked about, and then, of course, the Minister of Education and some other things not being intended.
Well, first and foremost, as a union, we appear, like I said, not to be on the same page with the Minister of Education. We have seen recruits of the political class come and go, and they just have for a while and then they will disappear. But we have been in the system for like forever. We have witnessed the pains, and we have witnessed the deterioration of the system over the years, and we are not comfortable with the turn of things in the university system. We know that this country cannot make progress unless we have high quality products from the universities. And so the urgency with which we want this matter addressed is probably not the same with the disposition of the minister. Everybody has been telling us he means well, he wants the matter addressed, but you want a matter addressed, you do it as quickly as possible, knowing fully well that we have a lot to catch up on. Countries all over the world are making progress very quickly too, and we are still far behind, so we cannot afford to slow down, because first we have to catch up before we even make progress, and we are nowhere near catching up again. And so this is the basis for our strong resentment to some of the disposition of the minister, talking about no work, no pay, this thing calling on some other unions. We thought someone superintending over that sector should know that we have a crisis, and that crisis necessitates that we have to work very, very fast to ensure that we resolve some of the lingering issues in the system.
All right, sir. We did talk about that, you have not made progress, but the federal government did offer 35% increase in salary structure. So can you talk about that?
Well, the thing about offer is even strange. It's strange because when we renegotiated that package, we came to some scientific conclusion on what will be needed, what will be paid to academics in the country. And this was arrived at, like I said, scientifically, taking into cognizance best practices everywhere, the kind of work we do, what we will need to carry out our assignment, and so on and so forth. So for government to now be lumping us with this civil service structure, offering 35% on something that is already miserable, you can't get anything meaningful out of that. You can't build something, nothing, so you can't build something on nothing. You can't put 35% on something that is miserable. And that's why we said, look, we had agreements, we had a draft agreement with some government representatives on how or what salaries to be paid. So this time,
sir, I'm sorry to cut you. In 30 seconds, are you saying that universities are going to be shutting down if the government, and just give us a timeline, doesn't yield to your hearing?
Well, we suspended the last 2 weeks strike midway because we wanted government to address the matter quickly. We gave them roughly around 4 weeks to do that. If they don't do that within the next 4 weeks, which is now remaining a couple of days, then we reserve the right to also resume the suspended action. And that we will do if nothing changes.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much. That's it there, the zonal coordinator, Lagos Zone, saying that if the government, doesn't yield to their yearning, they definitely go on strike, which means universities might actually be on shutdown.
All right. Thank you so much, Omalala Lade, for that update. Let's talk business now. Asian markets fell to one-month lows on Tuesday, led by sharp declines in Japan and South Korea, as investors grew cautious ahead of Nvidia's earnings later this week. Now, Japan's Nikkei plunged 3%, its steepest drop since April, while South Korea's Kospi slid 3.3%, and MSCI's Asia Pacific Index shed 1.8%. Analysts say fading conviction, valuation concerns, and positioning fatigue are driving the pullback. Tech stocks were hit hardest, with Japan's AI-related baskets down 4.7%. Global risk sentiment softened, boosting safe haven currencies as traders brace for heavy economic data releases and Japan's fiscal policy signals. We're still talking business. Oil prices slipped nearly 1% on Tuesday after Russia's Novorossiysk port resumed loadings following a 2-day halt caused by a Ukrainian drone and missile strike. Brent fell 0.9% to $63.64 a barrel, while WTI eased to $59.37. The restart eased supply fears after the suspension disrupted about 2% of global output. Traders are now weighing the broader impact of Western sanctions, with U.S. measures on Rosneft and Lukoil already squeezing Moscow's revenues. Analysts expect any sanctions-related disruptions to be temporary, while Goldman Sachs project softer prices through 2026, despite potential upsides. Coming up on the news, rising waters displace hundreds of families in Kenya. We'll bring you the details after the break. Stay with us. Let's take a look at stories outside the African continent. Heavy rains have caused Lake Naivasha, located about 100 kilometers northwest of Nairobi, to flood its surrounding areas. The rising waters have submerged homes, forcing many families to evacuate and seek shelter elsewhere. Local authorities are monitoring the situation closely as the community faces increasing challenges from the ongoing heavy rains and rising lake levels. Relief efforts are being coordinated to support those displaced and prevent further damage to property and livelihoods.
Every day inakuja na mita kama moja. Na effect ni kwamba wale ambao walikuwa hajafikiwa na maji wanaendelea kuingilia ndani ya manyumba. Kama hapa tumesimama, hata sasa hapa tunahofia. Juu sasa hapa ni kama 3/4 from down. Tumebakisha 1/4. Na kama vile mnaviona hapa maji imetukuta hapa, sasa hii ni miongo sasa ya pili. Na imekuwa challenge kubwa sana. Lake ilijaa, maji ikaja hapa, mnaona hata hapa mnaona hapa nyuma, si ati ni hapo lake iko chini kabisa, down there. Na kuna watu wako huko chini. Sasa ilianza kuja tu pole pole, ikarudi ikasimama, ikakuwa ni phase 1, ikakuja sasa phase 2.
Now, the UN Security Council has approved a US drafted resolution that endorses Donald Trump's 20-point peace plan for Gaza. The resolution, passed with 13 votes in favor, while Russia and China abstained, establishes a new board of peace intending to serve as a temporary governing body for Gaza. There was also the approval of an international stabilization force that will operate in Gaza under UN authorization to help demilitarize Gaza and protect civilians. Funding for reconstruction will be managed by a trust fund supported by the World Bank. The ISF and Board of Peace are authorized until December 2027, but any extension must involve Egypt, Israel, and other participating states.
Today's resolution represents another significant step towards a stable Gaza that will be able to prosper and an environment that will allow Israel to live in security. Security is the oxygen that governance, that development needs to live and to thrive. The International Stabilization Force will stabilize the security environment, support the demilitarization of Gaza, dismantle terrorist infrastructure, decommission weapons, and maintain the safety of Palestinian civilians. The resolution authorizes the International Stabilization Force, a strong coalition of peacekeepers, many from Muslim-majority nations like Indonesia, Azerbaijan, and others, to deploy under a unified command. These brave souls will secure Gaza's streets, they will oversee demilitarization, they will protect civilians, and they will escort aid through safe corridors, all while Israel phases out its presence and a vetted Palestinian police force takes on a new role.
Still on stories outside the continent, Canada's minority Liberal government, led by Prime Minister Mark Carney, has narrowly passed its new budget, surviving a confidence vote by just 170 to 168 in the House of Commons. Carney described the budget as a generational plan aiming at strengthening Canada's economy by reducing its dependence on the United States amid growing trade tension. The budget includes major investments in defense, infrastructure, and public services, even while running a high deficit, estimated at 78.3 billion Canadian dollars for 2025 to 2026. To pull off the vote, Carney relied on unexpected support. The Green Party's Elizabeth May backed the budget, and a few NDP members of Parliament abstained rather than oppose, fearing the political cost of forcing an election. The Conservatives slammed the budget for its large deficit and ambitious spending. "11 years after the Chibok tragedy shattered the nation in 2014, history has repeated itself, and not in a way that anyone ever prayed for. Now, back then, 276 schoolgirls were taken from their classrooms and their childhoods. As of 2024, about 82 of those girls were still missing. Today, in 2025, we are confronted with yet another painful reminder that Nigeria still has not fixed the wounds it keeps reopening. 25 girls were abducted from their boarding school in Maga in the Danko Wasagu area of Kebbi State. Now, they were asleep. They were children. And in a matter of minutes, their lives were rewritten. The vice principal who tried to shield them, Malam Hassan Yakubu Makuku, paid with his life. He stood between the attackers and the girls, and he never made it out. That alone should have been enough to shake the country awake. But we have become so used to bloodshed that even the heroic death of an educator barely gets the outrage it deserves. These girls were taken from the one place that should have protected them the most, a school, a place of learning, a place of safety. But yet again, that illusion has been shattered. Kebbi State shares borders with states that have become hotbeds of insecurity. The violence sips through the cracks. It crosses forests and rivers. It trickles into communities that once felt safe. What is happening is not random. It's the result of years of unprotected borders, unchecked terror cells, unmonitored movement across regions that are already struggling to survive. The threat is not contained. It is spreading. It is spreading quietly. It is spreading slowly. And it is spreading very boldly. Now, we keep hearing that insecurity is under control. Yes, kudos to the military and the security officials. I mean, they've launched an investigation, and of course, hopefully, these girls will be brought back. But how can it be under control when schoolgirls are still being dragged from their beds in the dead of the night? How can it be under control when families wake up to empty bunks and unanswered questions, with blood all over schools that should protect them and teach them? Every time this happens, we're reminded that no one knows where the next point of attack will be. Like I always say, it's not a northern problem. This is not a European problem that is far away. It's not something that the world can look at from a distance. It is a Nigerian problem that affects real Nigerian children, real families, real schools. And if we do not confront it now, it may grow into something even bigger, something even harder to contain. We have demanded real accountability for so long. We have demanded that our schools be protected with the same seriousness that is used to protect political convoys. We have demanded that border communities are not left to fend for themselves. We have demanded that the government stops reacting after the damage is done. But what do we get? Like I said, kudos to the security forces, but there's so much more to be done. So much more needs to be done. And that's your postscript. Now, before we go, let's take a look at what's happening in the sporting world. Two-time heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua will face YouTube star turned boxer Jake Paul in a December 19 clash in Miami, a fight carrying a 140 million euro prize purse. Udoka Njoku, tell us more, please.
Of course, it's all about Anthony Joshua making a return to the ring against Jake Paul, a YouTuber, and a lot of criticism surrounding this fight. But of course, we look forward to it in December to see if Joshua is there for the money or really to prove himself worthy of being a champion once again. We'll give you more on In the Game. It starts shortly.
All right, like you've heard, stay tuned on In the Games. That's all on the 12 report today. Remember, you may send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on the screen because we want to see what you see. Do also follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Go TV channel 23, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Blessings Wasugu.